Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. You are tuned in once again to the Lion's Den, the official source for UCCS Sports. I'm your host, MJ Arjamandi, alongside my partner in crime, as always, Martin, the Huckster Hines. And what you gonna do, brother, when the huckster lays down the sports on you?
The Hulkster. I can't do that. I can't pretend to be the Hulkster, but you know, I've got some bulk. I've got some girth.
Martin the Huckster Hines, live in the studio.
People don't know, though, I have the spandex red shorts on with the yellow tank with the ripped front there.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are missing out on that right now.
I know, with the balding top head.
That's
and,
right.
You know, all that.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, you got it.
I got the golden locks
there you
going.
Go. Beautiful. Martin, how was your weekend, bud?
It was good. Watched some NFL. What a crazy weekend, man. I got to tell you.
What were you watching, the games or the refs?
Well, yeah.
The refs were on a lot.
They were just as entertaining, I think.
Yeah.
And I love the coaches' reactions. We're going to get into a lot of that in the second half of the show.
because today we're going pro, Martin.
Yeah, we have plenty to talk about on that end.
Yeah, today MJ and Martin are going pro here on the Lions Den. But first, we got a lot of UCCS stuff to cover before we get to all that.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, how was your weekend? We never ask you. We always kind of forget to get into that.
Martin, I realize you don't really care about how my weekend was, but that's okay. You know, my weekend was good, Martin. I went and saw some volleyball games this weekend, some UCCS volleyball.
Yep, I was
the
there with
hottest team in the whole entire RMIC.
Yep,
the women's volleyball team is on fire.
They did dominate.
They're looking good.
Yeah,
they're looking really good. So we're gonna get to that. We're going to get to women's soccer because they're still tearing it up as well. We got two teams right now that are 6-0 at home.
Yeah, and dominating. They're ranked.
Nationally.
Yes.
Yeah, not just at UCCS, like, oh, they're the number one team.
Yeah.
No, nationally, they're getting votes.
That's right.
They're ranked nationally. Women's soccer is ranked 17th in the nation right now. After a loss. They lost over the weekend. They won over the weekend as well. They split 1-1, but now ranked 17th. We're going to get to that. We're going to get to men's soccer because they split the weekend as well, but a huge, huge win over Fort Lewis this weekend.
And it might help turn around their season, getting that big win over a conference opponent. So.
Yeah, especially the likes of Fort Lewis, who has historically been a rival of UCCS. There was a heyday back in the 90s when it was UCCS and Fort Lewis battling for championships in soccer.
Yes, I remember those days.
The glory days. You still were a student here back then, weren't you, Martin?
Back when was it?
Yeah, in the 90s.
90s?
Yeah.
Possibly.
It's been a while. And then we're going to talk a little bit of cross country. They haven't been active since last weekend when we covered them, but they got an event coming up soon. We're going to discuss some golf. Golf is playing right now as we speak. They're live right now in Denver playing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. You didn't know that, did you?
No.
No. But that's why I'm here, Martin. And then in the second half, as I mentioned, we're going pro, and we're going to talk some NFL because there's a lot to cover.
Yes,
when we're talking NFL.
And we'll play a little game called NFL's Heroes or Zeros.
Heroes or Zeros.
So we'll get to do that, and we'll cover other sports, whatever's going on in the sports world these days. There's the Ryder Cup. We may not talk about that, but
the golf concluded. I'll
tell you what. We have a little rivalry in golf as far as the Ryder Cup goes with those guys over the pond.
USA.
They seem to kick our butts all the time, but I mean,
well, it's because they always got the guys with the accents. You know.
Yeah.
They got Patrick Harrington.
Yeah.
The Irishman.
Yeah, and Westwood, Lee Westwood.
They all got those fancy accents. It's very disruptive to us American golfers.
I know. You know what? We should call Matthew Cox back in here.
Yeah,
and
have him battle it out with him.
Yeah, and we kind of reenact that whole thing between the U.S. and, we'll give him some lines like, you blokes,
can't take my freedom.
Yeah, you blokes don't know what you're doing in golf, and we'll be like, get out of here, you
Kiwi.
Yeah, whatever. So I don't know.
Yeah, we'll do something like that. But we're going to go pro in the second half. But we got a lot of UCCS stuff to cover before we get to any of that. So we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back and start it off with the UCCS stuff. Radio.uccs.edu. Whoa! Yeah! You know why I'm so excited, Martin?
Why is that?
Because the women's volleyball team is on fire, Martin!
They are. They're playing well. I got to see them with you on Friday night.
You did. You came in, you did some announcing for the UCCS game, and it was great to have you there live in the Gallagher Event Center for the games.
Let's not talk about that.
You don't want to talk about that? Oh, okay.
No.
We can save that for another part of the show, huh?
Well, all I have to say is, Coach Barnett was not too happy during the break.
And you didn't make
with
any
the
friends
announcing.
that night, did you?
No.
Hey, that's okay, but you were at the game and you saw UCCS as they went on to beat Black Hills State.
3-0.
3-0, the shutout. Straight
Yeah.
sets. That was the first matchup ever between Black Hills State and UCCS volleyball, as Black Hills State has just entered the RMAC this season, and UCCS loved hosting them and welcoming them to the RMAC as they did in straight sets on Friday night.
And it looked competitive for a little while, but I don't know if they were ever really threatened. I know the Saturday night's match was a little bit
more
of a test.
competitive. Yeah, a little more of a challenge. But yeah, Friday night, UCCS came out on their home court. They came into that matchup 4-0 at home and looking to dominate. And they did. And you know who they were led by?
Kinzer?
You would think so.
Nikki
You would
Kinzer.
really think so. But the Mountain Lions, that's the beauty of the volleyball team right now, is because that's who you would think, that's who Coach Barnett would think, that's who I would think. Everybody would think. Everybody would think it would be Nikki Kinzer. But the Mountain Lions are so well-rounded this season that you can get that offensive explosion from anybody. And you're right. On the second guess, you get it right, Martin. Jordan Banich, along with other fellow freshman Kim Catlett, led the way for the Mountain Lions on Friday. Each of them had 11 kills. That's pretty impressive. And Catlett added 18 digs in the mix, too. The Mountain Lions' defense was everywhere. They were swarming all over Black Hills State.
They had a lot of blocks. I mean, they were, that their front line was just dominating. I mean, they were out there like a Coop, Amanda Coop. She was
Megan Coop.
Megan Coop,
Yeah,
sorry.
Coop.
Yes, Megan Coop, the Coopster. She was good.
Amanda Bloom, she was good.
Amanda Bloom. There you go. Thanks, Bloom and Coop. I said that quite a bit on Friday night.
Amanda
I think.
Coop?
Yeah.
Well, see, that might be why Barnett is not too happy with it. Because there is no Amanda Coop.
No, Amanda.
There's not a Megan Bloom either.
Yeah. Bloom, all I said was the last names, Bloom and Coop. That's all I had to say.
That's all you had to say.
Because they were absolutely dominating up there. I mean.
Yeah, that front line is pretty impressive.
Yeah. So
battling at the net every time, and the Mountain Lions got the better end of Black Hills State on Friday as they won 3-0. And then Saturday night they were back once again here at the Gallagher Event Center, and they took on Shattern State. And that one was, like you said, a little more competitive. Mountain Lions lost the first set and then went on to win the next three. That first set, the Mountain Lions looked completely out of sync, out of rhythm. They didn't look like the same team. And then Keith Barnett gave them some of his Kool-Aid over the intermission, and they drank it. Yeah, Coach Keith Barnett gave them some Kool-Aid. They drank it in the intermission, and then the second set was a completely different Mountain Lion team. That was the team we were accustomed to, and they came out. And you know who led them in that matchup?
Kinzer,
yeah, very good. Yeah,
that's not hard to guess. Just say that every time.
Yeah.
You'll almost be right.
Yeah, every other time you're going to be right at least. But yeah, Kinzer led the way, 15 kills and 6 block assists on Saturday night against Shattern State. And then you know who was the other Mountain Lions lead?
Who was that?
Once again, a freshman again. Kim Catlett. The freshmen are tearing it up right now for the women volleyball team. They're doing great.
Yeah, I felt like when we had Coach Barnett in, he really didn't want to give away
He didn't want to let out the secret.
I think he had a good idea of what he had.
He knew what he was doing.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe he thought the other teams were listening, which I doubt. But he was a little reserved.
Everybody's listening, Martin.
He looked confident,
The world is listening.
Yes, the world is listening. Yeah. That actually is true, because we are online at radio.uccs.edu.
UCCS.edu.
So come find us.
Yeah, come find us.
Stalk us on Facebook, as MJ likes to say.
Yeah, stalk us on Facebook or in real life. I've always wanted a stalker. You can do that. That's fine. But do the Facebook one first, because we're...
MJ wants groupies.
Yeah, who doesn't? Who doesn't want groupies? But yeah, and the freshmen really stepping it up for the Mountain Lions. There was only 2 returning starters from last year's season on the team this year, and the Mountain Lions have done a great job of plugging in new players, and that is why right now UCCS is the hottest team in all the RMAC when we're talking volleyball. Right now they're 4-0 in the conference. They're 6-0 at home. They're on an 8-game winning streak.
Yeah, and I feel like they're playing with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder from not getting into the playoffs last year. I think we're going to see some revenge exacted right there. I think he's really going to lead the team. They're just all really confident. So I think we're going to see something special this year.
You know what? We really could. They're on their way to the RMAC playoffs, and there's a good chance of hosting some home games this season. And
I think we're going to go pretty far. I mean, just based off what we see at the beginning of the season. And I think playing that tough competition, even though they got down early on in the season with a couple of losses, but they were against ranked teams, nationally ranked teams, and I think that was something that probably has proven to be a blessing in disguise, because they've come out after that on fire. They've dominated it pretty much everybody they've played.
Well, they got a big test ahead of them this weekend, Martin, as they're going on the road to take on Metro State, who's currently ranked 14th in the nation, and then they're going to follow that up with a game against Regis on Saturday, and Regis is ranked 22nd in the nation. So the Mountain Lions have done well. They're 2-2 this season against ranked opponents, and honestly, if they can come out of that with a split 1-1 over the weekend, that's a pretty good outcome against those 2 ranked opponents. But the Mountain Lions are going into there thinking they're coming away with 2 wins,
and they easily could. It's always tough to go play on the road. You're not in front of your home crowd. You're on a different court. You're not totally used to it, but I don't think that's enough to deter them from winning both games. They really could. They could come out of there 2-0, and they could have a firm grasp on the conference.
A 10-game winning streak if they come out next weekend and win both those games. That would be huge, because the following weekend we're going to be back home Thursday night. That's Whiteout Night, which is a big promotion here at UCCS. Yep. All the students are going to be here. It's going to be a really wild night, and they're going to have the home crowd on their side. If they can come into that matchup riding a 10-game winning streak, all the momentum in the world, that's huge. I
think after this weekend, if they pull out 2 wins and right before the Whiteout Night, I think we should try and extend an invitation out to Keith Barnett to come back on the show and talk about how they feel and what they expect, and kind of give us a sense of where they are this season.
Well, I think we might be able to get him on the show if you promise him you're not going to do the announcing next time. He might take you up on that
I think
offer.
I can do that. I think I can tell.
I'm just joking with you, Martin. But yeah, head coach Keith Barnett has done a great job. We'd love to get him back on the show. And just so everybody knows how well Keith Barnett has done here at UCCS. Over the weekend, he got his 59th win here at UCCS, which brings him to number 2 all-time in wins at UCCS in coaching. So he only has 1 more to pass.
That's impressive.
Yeah, already. And this is only his 4th season here. So Keith Barnett is a great coach, and we hope to have him around for a while. He's done a great job with women's volleyball, and they are primed to make a run into the playoffs. And you know who else is primed to make a run into the playoffs, Martin?
The women's soccer team.
You read my mind, Martin. You read the Huckster Hines, reading minds. That's right. Yeah, the women's soccer is prime. They right now they're 7-1 overall, 3-1 in the RMAC. Also undefeated at home, 6-0. But they lost their first game of the season this weekend against Regis. They lost 1-2, but Brooke Tomanillo scored the sole goal for the Mountain Lions, and Kelly Schroeder 5 saves in that game.
And she's still really strong.
She is, absolutely.
She's playing well.
Yeah, she had a great performance. She let a couple of them get by her, but over the course of the season, you got to expect a few to sneak by.
Sure.
So, the Mountain Lions still put up a good fight there, and they were upset about that loss. they came back the very next night and they beat number 14 ranked Fort Lewis in overtime, nonetheless. So the Mountain Lions did a great job. That was the first time they've ever beaten Fort Lewis, the women's soccer team. So a historic win there. Hannah Rather scored the sole goal.
That's not surprising. She's still playing well. And with Hannah Levette, both of them.
Yeah, Hannah has scored 8 goals on the season.
Yeah.
Granted, one of them was Levette, the other one was Rather. They each scored 4. But if your name's Hannah and you're on the women's...
The Hannahs.
Yeah, Hannah is tearing it up for the women's soccer team. They're doing really good. And Schroeder in that matchup also had 2 saves. So the goalkeeping, not an issue this season, as last season it was a little more of a downfall for the Mountain Lions. That was one of the weaker areas. And Kelly Schroeder's done a phenomenal job. You know, she ate her Wheaties over the summer. She worked out, did her OTAs, did all this stuff, mini camps. You know, she did something because she came back ready, prime, ready to play. And she's been carrying the team on the defensive end.
And I think it's helped the offense kind of stay aggressive and you know, kind of you're going deep into the opponent's side of the field and not having to worry about so much giving up goals on the other end. And I think Jenna Guest back there too, just playing well. So when the defense plays well and the goalkeeping as well, it really kind of fuels the offense to go out there and be aggressive and score goals.
Well, yeah, because they're not as afraid of going deep and letting the ball get past them. You know, when they know the defense is behind them and they're going to have their back and play well, then the Mountain Lions can creep up and have more shots on the offensive end and not be as hesitant there that the ball is going to get past them on the defensive end.
Yeah, and just like the volleyball team, you know, this team had a lot of turnover and yet they're gelling well.
Oh yeah, and you know that's another attribute to head coach Nicole Reidenauer, who was on the show last week. Again, a big thanks to her. But she's done a great job this season and over the course of the past few seasons building this program into what it is right now. 17th ranked in the nation. I think when we started this program a few years ago, that would have been kind of a best case scenario to say in a few seasons we're going to be nationally ranked with a chance to go deep into the playoffs. That's big here at UCCS.
Yeah, the coaching has definitely made a difference, whether it's in volleyball or soccer, and even on the men's side. I think you know, Johnny Keene, he's the men's soccer coach. You know, he's getting his feet wet a little bit, but I think they're going to start turning around. We have excellent coaches, I think, right now.
The coaching right now is prime, and absolutely, Martin. And we're going to go ahead and get to head coach Johnny Keene and the rest of the men's soccer as soon as we come back from break here in just a few minutes. But once again, you are tuned in to the Lions Den, the official source for UCCS Sports. welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, you are tuned in to the Lion's Den, the official source for UCCS sports. A little Guns N' Roses here, live on the air for you. You know, a little choppy rendition, but I guess that's what you get when you get it free on your phone.
For free?
For free. That's just what happens sometimes, you know. But, you know, we work with it, and it's still a good addition.
Still, it's a little GNR.
It's still Guns N' Roses, no matter how you cut it. Well, right now, we got to talk a little bit about men's soccer. Because a huge win over the weekend for men's soccer. You were mentioning Johnny Keane a little while ago as really starting to find his groove as the coach here at UCCS. His first season as the Mountain Lions head coach and doing a good job of starting to turn that team around. And the Mountain Lions, again, huge win this weekend as they beat number 17 ranked Regis 3-2. Mountain Lions won that game. It was a big win. What?
Well, I was just saying.
You're blown away by the win, aren't you?
Yeah. I mean, you know, it was a little rough start for them, but you know, they're turning around. So I know the performance of Mash
Shashwar. Well, I have to announce it every week, so that's the only reason why I'm Mash Shashwar.
Shashwar.
Yeah, he did really good on the game on Friday night. He had one shot on goal, didn't quite go in, but in the win the next night, he had 2 goals within a 5-minute span.
That's impressive.
That's really impressive, Martin. He's Mash is really coming on as the premier offensive player for the Mountain Lions, and he led the Mountain Lions to that 3-2 win this past weekend. And again, 2 goals within the first 9 minutes of the game, 5 minutes apart, and the Mountain Lions went up 2-0, and then they let him get back into the game, and then all of a sudden in the second half it was 2-2. And then Brett Dreffs comes out of nowhere in the 69th minute and scores the go-ahead goal, and then the Mountain Lions win. And that's kind of how that went down on Saturday night.
Okay, thank you.
If you don't know, now you know. And the Mountain Lions were led by Mash Shashwar, and that's why Mash is going to be our Shining Lion of the Week.
Lion
Of the Week?
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I think every time we mention Mash's name, we should just play a little bit of, you know, a little bit of this every time. What do you think? You think he knows what that is? Little Mash Shashwar?
Foxy knew what it was.
Yeah.
I was impressed.
G'day. I like Mash. Oh, my mum likes Mash. My mum likes Mash. But every time we mention Mash Shashwar, we're gonna play the little Mash song.
For those of you younger listening Lions out there who don't know what this is, you really got to do your homework.
Yeah, Google it.
Yeah,
Mash.
So
it's a long, I think one of the longest running.
At its heyday, it was the longest running TV show of all time. It's been surpassed since then, but at the time, it was the longest running.
Had
TV
Alan
show.
Alda, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the star power right there, Alan Alda.
Well, of course, Alan Alda. Huge.
Yeah.
I don't really know who that is, but he was on MASH.
Yeah, he's been on a lot of different things.
A lot of different things. But yeah, Mash Shashwar was our Shining Lion of the Week. And last season, he was named the second-team academic All-RMAC. He played in 18 games, started in 13 of them, and he scored 4 goals last season, with 1 assist and 9 points. And already this season, right up there, he's going to surpass that in a game or two. He's right there.
He's on a roll.
He's on a roll.
Now, if we could get the rest of the team on a roll, then
the whole team would be doing pretty. Yeah, if every player played as hard as Mash plays,
we're calling them out.
Well,
we're calling them out. We want them to step it up.
If you're listening, Martin's calling you out, and you can deal with Martin after the show. And I'm just saying, hey, let's go ahead and get another win like we did on Saturday.
Yes, no, in a positive way, I'm asking them to do.
A little backtrack.
I don't want to get hurt
by the Huckster Hines.
Yeah, I can handle him. Come on down here.
Get him, Martin.
Not really.
But before playing at UCCS, Mash comes to us from overseas. He played in the UK and was a part of a big league there as well, down at Brunel University in the UK, and comes to us now. Currently, Mash is attending UCCS as a graduate student. He already has a bachelor's degree, and he earned it from Brunel University. So Mash, that intelligence is showing on the field. Not only does he already have a degree, he's in graduate school. He's got the accent. So he's got it all.
He's from across the pond.
Yeah, across the pond.
Have fish and chips.
Yeah, and
mites.
Tea and crumpet.
That's probably
I think that's more
Australian.
Coxie. I really want to get Coxie in here along with somebody else with that accent.
I think we should get Shashwar and Coxie in here, and then have them just go at it with the accents.
Yeah.
Battle of the accents. I bet our female listenership will just go right through the roof.
You know what? Maybe we need to just develop an accent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what that means, my friend? Maybe I should just come up with my own accent and go with it live on the studio, on the air.
Yay, baby!
Yeah.
Little Austin Powers or something like that. I could see that happening.
There you go, my friend. That's very good. But once again, get back down to business. Mash Shaswar, our shining lion of the week, and we gotta give our shout out to Mash, as he came up with 2 big goals over the weekend for the Mountain Lions to lead them to victory. And you're right, Martin. Maybe that's the victory that UCCS needs to get the men's soccer team back on the right track and playing well again. That's the Mountain Lions are a contender, and they need to get back on the right track. And they got a few games coming up soon. As up next, they're going to take on Adams State on Wednesday. And Adams State, that's a game that the Mountain Lions could win. Adams State comes into that matchup 1-5 overall, 1-2 in the conference, and so the Mountain Lions with a prime opportunity to get a win down there in Alamosa. And then they're going to be back home to take on Colorado Mines on Friday night. And Colorado Mines, they're a little bit more of a
stout.
A little more stout, yeah. Mm-hmm. A little more formidable of an opponent there. They come in 5-2-1 overall with a conference record of 2-0-2. So they've tied twice. They tied Fort Lewis, and then they also tied Pueblo.